What's up, Blueroof Nation, and welcome to episode 2 of Character Spotlight. I'm your host, Jonathan, as always, and today I thought I would talk about the other X-Men leader. And no, it is not Wolverine. Why would you even... What the hell is wrong with you for asking me? Get that... No, I'm just playing. Alright, it's Storm, obviously. It's not Cyclops, it's Storm. Those are your leaders. Those are your only leaders. Get it straight. Alright, so Storm. Who is Storm? Well, she was an orphan girl from Africa. Her parents died and she became an orphan. And she was kind of a pickpocket. In fact, when she was a little girl, she pickpocketed Charles Xavier when he was going around the world. How cool is... What a coincidence is that, right? When she's 12, she saves Black Panther, of all people, from some racists. So that's always cool. But, alright, so then she, her powers manifest, and Storm has the power to control weather. And the people in the small village believe that she is a goddess, because only a god can control weather. Or a mutant. Or weather wizard from the Flash. Right? Right? Okay, so they start worshiping her as a goddess. And this is when Xavier comes to her and is like, I need your help. And she goes with him to help out, because Storm is a good person. Until current issues. So Storm goes and helps out, and she's one of the members of the new X-Men, helping Cyclops and then save the old X-Men and becoming the new members. She becomes fast friends with Jean Grey when Jean Grey occasionally visits the Xavier Institute. When Kitty Pryde joins the team, she kind of becomes a mother figure to Kitty Pryde. And when Cyclops has to take a leave of absence, she jumps in to lead the team, which is important because when Cyclops, this is important because she and Cyclops eventually come to heads over who will lead the team, and she leads the team. But we're not there yet, not quite yet. All right. So a little before that, there's a mutant named Rogue. She starts off as a member of the Brotherhood and then eventually becomes an X-Men. Well, Forge creates a machine, to take away Rogue's powers, and he accidentally hits Storm, and she loses her powers. And this is when she kind of goes all punk rock, like her outfit changes, she gets that mohawk looking thing, and she really starts to step it up, because she can't rely on her powers anymore, you know? And during this time, her and Forge start to fall in love over in Dallas, and it's so romantical. So romantical. She beats Cyclops for the title of leader of the X-Men, and she leads the X-Men. Here's this woman who has no powers whatsoever, and she's leading a team of powerful people. I mean, she's the Captain America of the X-Men, you know? So her and Forge eventually stop this creature in another dimension, and because of that, the Guardian of the multiverse grants the X-Men invisibility to electronic devices. Why? I'm not really sure, but she does it. And during this same fight, the world believes the X-Men are dead. So Storm leads her X-Men to Australia, where through the help of a mutant named Gateway, they just fight crime all over the place. She also finally gets her powers back, which is, you know, yay plus. So she finally gets her powers back, yay, and everything is going kind of good. You know, she's the leader until she gets what's this? Okay, so until she gets kidnapped. Now she gets kidnapped by the nanny. It's like this robot thing, and it kidnaps her, and I don't know, I can't remember why, but it turns her into a little girl. And she kind of forgets everything that happened after she was a little girl. And this is when she meets Gambit. While she's a little girl, she meets Gambit, and they become fast friends. And so she doesn't remember who she is. She doesn't remember being X-Men. She doesn't remember anything. Her and Gambit are on the run from this nanny creature that's trying to capture her again. And she eventually gets kidnapped by Genosha and turned into a slave, a mutate, which is just mutants who are slaves. Until the X-Men and X-Factor and everything comes together and stops the whole thing. At which point she is restored to her normal age and has her memories back and all that, and becomes the leader of one of Xavier's 2 X-Men groups. But yeah, I always find that weird that she was like, so much has happened to Storm. So this is just until the 90s. She got turned into a little. She lost her powers, got turned into a little kid, got turned into a mindless slave. Like, so much shit has happened to Storm, man. She's an intense character. Now, we move forward a little bit to the 90s, where she leads one of the teams. But Cyclops she had beaten Cyclops for leadership, but when he comes back, he kind of like jumpstarts her. I mean, technically they're equal. They each have their own team, but it's kind of clear that Cyclops is in charge because he's Xavier's favorite and Xavier's back. But it isn't long before Storm leads this team called the XSE, which is like this mutant police force that polices mutants, and they have worldwide authority, and she's in charge of that. So I mean, they keep giving her leadership positions, but I don't know, she always seems to take a backseat to Cyclops, and maybe that's why she's so bitter towards him in the current series. Now, she also leads the Extreme X-Men, another team of X-Men. She's always leading like smaller teams of the group. Every once in a while they will put her in charge of everything, but usually she's in charge of smaller groups, you know? Now whenever the Civil War stuff was going on, she marries Black Panther. I mean, how cool is that? And they remain neutral. They're like, nah, we don't want to deal with all you people. It goes back to when she saved him as a little kid, you know? So after she married Black Panther, the 2 of them actually became members of the Fantastic Four, replacing Reed and Sue Richards. So they were members of the Fantastic Four for a while. She also got membership to the Avengers at long last. Now, their marriage is full of hardship, though. Like, a little bit later, Black Panther kind of has like an identity crisis. He gets really badly hurt, and his little sister becomes Black Panther. And that really hurt him a bit, you know? So he goes to Hell's Kitchen and takes over for Daredevil, and their marriage is kind of strained. Then the whole AVX thing happens, and Storm sides with the X-Men, because she's an X-Men, you know? Until Namor destroys Wakanda, and then she's like, alright, honey, I'm sorry, I want to help you guys out. So she starts helping the Avengers, but Black Panther annulled their marriage. He's like, we're done. That's it. This marriage ain't shit no more. So their marriage kind of broke up. And not long after that, she started dating Wolverine, which causes all kinds of... She started dating Wolverine a few months before he dies. And then she's all heartbroken and crying all the time because he's dead. You just started dating him and now you're all whiny about him dying? Who the hell cares that he's dead? He's Wolverine. He'll come back. But she got all whiny about it. And she just became real anti-Scott. Like, death to Scott Summers, death to Scott Summers. But she took over the X-Men, and now she kind of runs, well, when Wolverine started his school, she was co-headmistress. Whereas it used to be Scott and Emma, now it was Wolverine and Storm. I think that's kind of where the romance started, you know? So, where we're at in modern X-Men mythology is she runs the X-Men. She's the head honcho. And now all the X-Men are, now that Scott's dead, all the X-Men are back in one house, and she's running a tight ship. And she's probably the coolest, I don't know, I would argue one of the coolest X-Men characters they have. And probably the coolest female X-Men character. And if you need a leader for your team and it's not Cyclops, Storm is the best second choice. You just can't get any cooler than her. I just wish that she would understand that the stuff she's saying in comics right now, like, we're mutants and we're proud, and if you attack us, we will end you. She's saying the same thing Scott said, while saying, screw you, Scott! It's turning her into a real hypocrite that she didn't used to be, and that's what bothers me, is that she no longer really has any moral high ground. When you condemn somebody and then do the exact same thing that you're condemning them for, you lose credibility. And the modern X-Men comics are kind of taking all credibility away from Storm. which I think really sucks because Storm is one of the most interesting characters they have. But it's this vendetta that the writers seem to have against Scott Summers, which I don't personally understand. But Storm's never been afraid to speak her mind, which is one of the reasons I love her. Like she went after Beast in Uncanny X-Men 600, gave him an intervention. I was like, she's a strong character. Like, you don't get stronger characters than Storm. And you guys should go check her out. This has been Character Spotlight number 2. Leave a comment below for what character you guys want next, and have a week!